a top couple of matchups next week, and I hope to see how well you guys perform in them. Let's send it back to the couch, though.
For context, I was giving him a big thumbs down.
Why?
I just like to nag people.
Sure.
I'm just a cruel person. I was giving him a thumbs up. I was giving him a supportive, friendly thumbs up.
Hey, bud.
Welcome.
How's it going? Thanks. I didn't know how to respond to welcome.
Oh my God.
I was just like, well, yeah, that's
I mean,
me.
you have just done a couple of hours of straight talking.
Yeah.
You know.
Now it's time to sit down on the couch and shut up. Absolutely not. I love this segment.
I do. Yeah. Nick Box.
Yeah.
Your favorite well, they're all your favorite segments we spoke about yesterday. A reminder, you can send in your questions. You can send them in now. I've got Gmail open, asknickboy@gmail.com. They'll probably go in next week's episode or the next time we do this. But, you know, if a banger comes along, I'll check during this segment and I'll just read it out. And also a reminder, this next game is your last chance to send in your comic book cover suggestion.
True. Yeah.
Have you seen any of these?
No.
Have you?
I've seen
one.
one.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, some choice entries.
The
It's going
one that
to be
I
very
saw
exciting.
was very good. And
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay. It had inside memes. It was a banger.
I'm very excited. But before we get to that, we need to dive into my box. Our next question comes in from Armin. Who
Hey,
says,
guys.
hey guys,
Hey.
what do you do when you're not in studio? And I think Armin means like during broadcast, but not in studio. Not like what do you do in your week?
Yeah, okay.
Whiz bombs? And that's it.
We go outside and we stand on a grate.
Well,
Yeah.
between broadcasts, we watch games in the room we sit in. We don't actually stay here to watch the games. That'd
True.
be very cold.
We go 2 floors up.
Yep.
There's a room called Renekton.
Yeah.
Has a television.
Yep. And we go watch the games.
Yep.
And then sometimes we go to the other side of the building and get some little, I don't want to say the S word, but a little snacky from the vending machine. You know, a cheeky Kit Kat here or there. To keep the energy levels high, of course. There's a professional reason why you need a Kit Kat.
You know how...
Bananas. Just quiet.
we get
I
it.
hate
Okay,
you so
you're
much.
amazing. You know how last seg we were complaining about the food, and then I got a bunch of people telling me, like in Twitch chat, "Oh, stop complaining about the food. Bring your own food." Guess what? I'm going to complain more about other things in the building. They locked us from walking between our room and the kitchen. So the 3 levels here, and you used to just be able to wander right through the 3rd floor. You could just wander from one side to the other. They blocked those doors off because apparently, I don't know, I figured that they thought I was stealing. And you know what? I was. And now you have to go 3 floors down, across 3 floors up, just to get yourself a glass of water or a banana.
It's very hard
Or
to
a
be
Kit
healthy in these circumstances.
It's incredibly difficult.
That's what I will say.
Or is it easier because we're getting a lot of exercise?
Yeah. So if you get a little chocky, then you get a walk on the way.
You do, and maybe that's
Banger.
a good way of doing it.
Just justified
I'm also
good chocolate.
no, but like, also I will say like the other day, like coming to Sydney from Melbourne with Jake, all he does is complain that I want to take the stairs. I'm not unhealthy. I'm a stair guy. You know, I don't take the escalator. I don't take the lift.
Yep.
You bloody walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got those long legs.
Cool.
He's got those short legs. Benji in the chat said we did it literally to stop Nick Boy. So there you go.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the reason. They spent thousands of dollars installing security doors simply because I was stealing thousands of dollars worth of computer equipment. Mr. Satley writes in, which champion would you most like to be reworked?
Oh, that's tough.
Garen.
Garen.
I don't think you do.
No, I do, because like I feel like he is like a couple of tiny tweaks away from actually being competitively viable. Like if he had like I'm just thinking about it, right? If he had like the additional movement speed on his E as opposed to his Q, and
that
that
what it
slower
used to be?
move, and then he had a short dash on his Q, he would be like a strong champion.
If he had a short dash, a silence, on his Q.
Yeah.
And his move speed was on the E.
And his move speed was on the
Which
E.
is that? Was that where it was originally?
No, so the slow reduction was on his
for
E and it
removal
got
of- yes.
moved to Q. But that would make Garen competitively viable. And I love Garen. So any kind of little hints in the right direction. Like, for example, that Morgana buff that like everyone's like, it's not really all that much. If
It's
you're
a
a
lot.
Morgana player in mid lane, you're like, this is a really great quality of life buff. I just want 2 quality life buffs on Garen.
I think Wukong. I think Wukong's a great champion to
Yeah.
watch. Like, he's just a fun champion. I think he is like if Garen was more intricate and interesting. I don't want like a full rework. I'd like a half rework. So I think the ultimate should stay as its identity, right?
His W needs more playability. You should be able to keep yourself there and move a clone. I think. Like, you should be able to pick which side of the
shit, Pyro
W
has
you
ears.
use. Yeah, we never see him with that. Yeah,
Sorry.
I agree. Wukong would be good.
What else is there?
Yeah, okay. I kind of like Sona.
Oh, yeah.
She's just garbage.
Yeah.
But she's cool.
Just better songs.
Like, no, what? Yeah, maybe get some like little bit of upgrade. No, but like I really like back when she was playable. I thought she had a cool place in the meta because it was like playing Braum into Sona was like this little mini game of being able to block her ulti. Like when she's a useful champion and is in League of Legends, like she's very cool. And I think she is unique in that she only functions about like her auras and stuff like that. So
Cool theme. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
such a,
genuinely.
that's like a really, it's
Yeah.
not just walk up to someone with your massive sword
Hammer.
and hit him.
Yeah, like she could be a very cool champion given some buffs, but I don't know. What
I've
you can
always
do.
thought that she should get the karma treatment, where she's based around her ultimate has too much power to make her other auras more impactful.
Yeah.
So I always thought that her ultimate should just make one of the auras pop off. Like you should get a huge AoE here,
Heimerdinger.
or you should get like a massive movement speed boost,
upgrade
like a
one of them.
talisman, or like you should like smack someone with that.
So her
power
ulti is
sword.
basically just like a
I s-
volume knob that
Legitimately
turns
donut.
up one of the other.
Because
auras.
Yeah.
her ultimate is just too good. It's an AoE dance party,
Yeah,
like for a couple
literally.
of seconds, to make her other abilities impactful, which means her other abilities kind of feel crap.
I somewhat agree. Like that'd be cool, but also then you just kind of got to turn her into Karma, because like Mantra E like exists, and then Sona's just gonna be like Mantra Heal.
I mean,
But
you
like,
could
but like obviously like if you rework it to be different, yeah, sure. But like yeah, that could be
you
cool.
could make it like empowered Q makes the two people you hit dance. You
Yeah.
know, like it could be something that is legitimately
yeah,
impactful.
yeah.
And it could be a short enough duration to where like it doesn't have to be overpowered, right?
Yeah, the thing is I hate Karma's rework. So if we could just take Karma back to
Really?
the old Karma. And
What
then
like the
give-
little fan, the little.
She was so cool.
She was cool.
Okay, I hated old Karma. But
Fix
And
Nico.
old Graves. Oh my god, that's what we
Nico?
need to rework.
Yeah, trash champion. I agree with chat. We've seen the statistics in the OPL. No bueno.
Yeah,
I don't care what Rusty
57%
says.
on live
Yeah.
in the 80 carry roll. Come on, Avant.
I want old Graves back.
oh,
That's
yes.
what I want. I want a revert, not a rework. I want old Graves back. He was the
just
best.
roll it
Speaking
back.
of
Roll it
revert,
back.
bring back old Shen. So it
True.
can, so he can be fun again as a
Oh,
support.
where you can throw swords at
Yeah.
people for no reason.
Dude,
It'd
it
be
was-
the worst ninja ever.
It was so satisfying throwing a sword at a cannon creep and watching your AD carry just whack it and heal. And I was just like, this feels nice. New Shen support, it just
I mean,
feels
I used to play him
bad.
top
You just have
lane,
energy
man.
problems. So, like, it's playable, it's good, but like,
Yeah, I
just
agree, but I
hurts
think
me.
his dodge field ability is way cooler than his old
yeah.
feint, which was just a tiny little shield that you got.
Ting.
Yeah. yeah.
So
agree with that.
from reworking to just inventing completely. Our next question. Josh Boost. G'day, guys.
G'day.
So the champion team has asked the OPL for an Australian-based champion to hit the rift. We need a name, some abilities, and of course a voice actor. An idea to get you started. A gator hunter who uses both a knife and a spoon. He's played Knifey Spoony before. Traps enemies and finishes enemies with his swooping magpie. Of course, he's
Oh.
voiced by Aussie icon Hugh Jackman. Nick Boy, hopefully you do well in tips this week. I hate seeing that beautiful face in pain. We changed chili tips purely to save Rusty. See you on the stream. Yeah. What do we reckon?
This is a lot.
This is a lot.
Can I suggest the ultimate? Let's work backwards.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sure.
Because this just popped into my head. I think the ultimate for this champion, whoever they are, should be called Tall Poppy. and when you hit it, it takes whoever it has the most gold or the most health or whatever, and it just instantly kills them.
So it's a blue shell.
It's on it's basically a blue shell, and it's on a massive cooldown.
Yeah.
But it is just going, you're too good for us, and you're just out of the.
Does
Does that
that
mean also
include
if
your
it's on your
allies?
own team?
Yeah.
Oh, because technically that is what Tall Poppy is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We hate that it's one of our own. You know what? Yes.
I'm gonna offer an alternative, and it's the champion is called Tony Abbott, and his ult is called MBN Rollout, and it makes everyone on the enemy team experience like packet loss and like they feel like they're lagging,
Fantastic.
even though they're not actually lagging. You know, you're playing on 6 ping, but the ultimate, you
Every
know,
third
Tony
click
Abbott
doesn't
says
register.
MBN Rollout, then like you just like you got like 120 MS for like a couple of seconds. That would be a sick ultimate.
Yeah,
That
and every
is
time it
excellent.
happens, your champion turns into like just wearing
You
budgie
could-
smugglers.
And he could be two
Okay.
different
I
champions.
love
We'll call
that.
it the Liberal Party. And then, like,
Oh,
they'll
no,
just
and-
change prime ministers
It'll-
halfway through.
Every time you die, you come back as a different
Dragon Ball
champion.
Fighter Z, where you have like 3 to sub in and out constantly.
I
I've
love
only
that.
talked enough politics with you guys to get about 30% of that, but I know enough to know it's funny.
And no one likes that champion. No one likes it. The champion is an awful
People
person.
that pick it, they don't like it anymore.
That's
We would always
so
get
good.
banned, right?
Yeah, always gets banned. But sometimes, somehow, still makes it through the draft, and you're just like, what are you doing, guys? Haven't we learned our lesson from years and years of this bullshit?
Is this where you advertise for milk delivery systems in the home?
Under a Nick prime ministership.
Isn't it a presidency?
I love
It's
that.
changing weekly.
Yeah, okay.
I love that. Okay, so the champion is the Prime Minister of Australia under the Liberal Party. Let's just put tall poppy syndrome as their cue. Their ultimate is NBN. Roll out the NBN. Brilliant, and even has a sort of voice
W
line to go with it.
usually in League of Legends is like something that empowers you. It's not like a spell that stuns or anything. I could be a Shui. I think
Oh,
you-
yeah,
you give
okay,
it- do a
yep,
Shui,
yeah,
and that
yes.
like gives
It's
you
kind
a
of like
buff.
a Gragas.
Yeah,
right?
that's
pretty
all
good.
W.
Yeah. So why don't why don't
So
we just
is the
reskin
idea that-
Gragas?
Oh, that's a good one. Tax cut. His
I was going to
E
say a tax cut.
is he gives the richest person on his team tax subsidies
That's
for his next item.
That's so
As in,
good.
like futures market. They
but,
can like buy something without
it's
the
just
gold. for it.
40% cheaper
Oh yeah, okay.
because you're rich,
Yeah.
so you need another item.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic. Yes.
So it's very much
Genius.
a snowballing champ.
Your support actually has to pay more for it. Because it has to be passed on
It
somewhere.
needs to be passed on because
Yeah,
it needs
true.
to
Yeah.
level
Wait,
out
so you're just
somehow.
assuming the support will always
So
have less
whoever has
money?
the least money
Yeah.
has to pay for it.
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think that's a good kit design.
I
Well,
reckon
what
that's
about the
excellent.
Q? We're one spell off.
No, he said that's tall poppy syndrome.
Tall poppy
Oh, that's
syndrome
tall
is-
poppy
Yeah,
syndrome.
tall
Oh,
poppy.
right.
You've
Because
got the
remember,
Shui,
wow.
we've got tax cuts.
That's a
and
really
we've got-
powerful basic spell.
Well, I think you would only
Well,
put
it's the
1 point
Liberal
in
Party.
it.
We don't understand why they're so powerful, but they are for some reason. Okay, fantastic. We're done.
very, very political.
I think the alternative is you just reskin Gragas instead of making a full champion, and you could turn him into an
I
Australian.
also, for context, I could create a Labour Party champion that had equally as bad abilities as well.
A Labour Party champion would not actually load into the game. It's that ineffective. You could not click on it. It just does not actually. It just hangs forever.
Because I know there
and
are
everyone
people,
needs to disconnect.
There are people like Bryce right now that are like, wow, they're just really counting the Liberals. I just want to make it very clear that Nick and I can both sides of our political
Absolutely.
government all the time.
That's right. But our government is filled with monsters. All right, it's time to move on to the second last game of the day. And that game is... I'm scrolling. Bombers versus Chiefs.
Hang on.
Hey, we're here.
Hey, we're in a game.
What up?
There's a Kled ban because Bombers know that Swips is good at it.
Absolutely. Before we get into this game, I do have to make a public service announcement. Bryce, I took your charger and I put it upstairs. So your charger is upstairs. Regardless, this is going to be a banger of a game. We thought the game one was going to be game of the day. I think that did not live up to some of the expectations. Pyrotechnics. However, this game, I'm confident. I bumped into Claire on the stairs. He said, Jake, you didn't have faith in us. What about Origin? I said, Claire, we lost Origin against the guy that plays mid laner on the other team. I've just jumped off the bandwagon. And he said, I'm going to bring it back for you.
Well, we'll see who ends up being right at the end of the day. This is the number 1 and number 2 team in the OPL right now, currently at a 1-1 head-to-head. Whoever wins this owns that for the rest of the split, and this very well could be a
And it could
preview
matter.
of the final spawn.
And it could matter because Mammoth on the rise, both of these teams still to play Mammoth in the third round robin. So if Chiefs get this one, it goes 13-3 to 14-2, which means one game. That means if Bombers drop the game somehow to Mammoth and Chiefs pick it up, all of a sudden Chiefs snake the first place spot, which is huge, Pyra. I cannot state how important first place is in the gauntlet. Every team that has ever placed first place since the gauntlet changes were made has gone on to win the OPL.
History definitely on the side of whoever makes it. LeBlanc locked in first for Bombers. On the opposite side, Chiefs with the Lucian left open. Go for a little Lucian Braum, a nice combination for Raze and Ayla.
Yeah, let's play some catch-up here because Ray's not known as a Lucian player. In fact, a lot of times, Chiefs were banning Lucian on the blue side. A lot of people questioning, does Raze actually play the champion? Showed yesterday against Order. Yes, he does. Had a bloody terrific performance. I want to see what they run into it here, because I would expect Kai'Sa to come out. FBI likes to have some room to play around these champions. However, that means that potentially Balkan, who has been so crucial to the Bombers' success, will be sacked throughout this drafting period.
Might be the case. Now, this would be a pretty deadly combination. If they do lock in the Callista, they do. So they've got a combo with the Cow. This can definitely mean some mid and later game fights could go big for the Bombers.
And maybe a little bit more of a throwback to when FBI and Rogue were on the Sin Gaming lineup as opposed to Order, because this is a very fight-heavy bottom lane. This isn't looking to scale all that much. In fact, I think Lucian late game does outscale the Callista. Alistar, always the best late game support in my opinion, but people say that Brahms outscales him in teamfights as well. And the Croc in the top means that the Chiefs are willing to play this one a little bit faster. They want the fights. I want to see now what the Bombers come up with.
Yeah, trying to throw a little bit of a wrench in the works for Bombers. So they start off by banning a couple of these powerful counter picks that Mimic has been able to use to great success. The Cannon's off the board. Now the Corki is matched in the mid, so Bombers starting to target Claire.
Yeah, and that's really interesting, right? Because Corki is something Claire has played. With Hex Drinker, certainly wins the mid lane matchup, so I respect that. If it ever gets accelerated, just goes Trinity Force Orc Boots and blows the LeBlanc out of the laning phase as well. Scales very well into the late game, so trying to get rid of some of that potential as well. However, I think that Claire could play a little bit more of that 1-3-1 style here. Ryze is taken away, but he's a big Cassiopeia player, so still things that he can take to that side lane. And the Evelynn is interesting. I actually called for Balkan to play the Evelynn, because I think the Evelynn has the opportunity to, much like last night's game, kind of freeze the mid game when it goes to 1-3-1 and make it so hard to play around that split push. So I think getting rid of one of Balkan's best champions is a very viable strat.
Trying to limit Balkan has proved difficult. Now Chiefs will add a pretty big team fighting presence to their mid lane. Claire is going to take the Orianna. Cassio was available to him, but there is quite a lot of ball delivery in the Chiefs lineup already.
Certainly is. One of the cool counters to Renekton in the Poppy is being hovered right now. Mimic is a huge Poppy player, and people thinking that he went Trinity Force yesterday just because he was fed. I've seen this man go Trinity Force Poppy many a time.
It's got the eye of the tiger.
I would say that this is actually a kind of counter pick. I would expect Renekton to do really well in this lane. Mimic is a great Aatrox player, but Renekton has the dash, and you can kind of line it up as he goes for that first Q. If you ever get within that circle, you can do a hell of a lot of damage to the Renekton and then dash away before he can really follow you up. So I want to see how Swiper plays this lane. And whoa!
We got a Taliyah. So that should be Taliyah jungle.
Absolutely.
For Balkan, and he just keeps adding to his champion pool.
Blind Taliyah jungle as well. So there's things like Lee Sin, things like Rek'Sai still up and available that I would expect to do very well into the Taliyah.
Let's see how Chiefs manage it. If they can get
Even
the counter pick there. I think you can see Smile on the face of Volt right there in the background. And they will pull the Kindred out for Only.
So that's Only's best champion. For those wondering at home, like what style does Only like to play, definitely think he's a huge Kindred player. We just saw Spooks pop off on it as well. Kindred, if you ever get ahead, is obnoxious. You can never force her out of the jungle because she has so much single target damage that she hits you twice and you have to reconsider like all your life choices. Like, why did I even come to this blue buff in the first place? So I'm really interested to see if Only can do this, and that shows how much the Chiefs value Balkan, because Balkan has been running absolutely over the top of the rest of the OPL, right? And Red Side 5th pick is purely there for your mid laner or your top laner to get a counter pick. They could have given Swipe a counter pick versus Mimic and guaranteed him a good lane. However, they say, you know what, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave it for Only. The young jungler of the Chiefs, 22 years old, needs to have a huge showing here.
He certainly does, and I think Chiefs, another reason that they might have wanted to not go for the counter pick in the top lane is because despite the fact that Mimic is a terrifying presence, Swiper has proven that even in losing matchups, he can be just fine down the line. He can always get into the mid game, and well, we'll see what he can do on the Croc because that's a pretty big bully lane for them. In the bottom, Raze and Ayla should be able to do okay against FBI and Rogue, looking at that Lucian-Braum combination. And I don't know, I'm kind of looking at this, and I kind of feel pretty good for Chiefs here, Spawn.
I feel good for both of the teams, to be honest. Really good 1-3-1 comp coming out. They have the Taliyah as well as Kalista Ali. They're going to be able to control the mid game if they're ahead. At the flip side, you have to say Lucian Braum if they're ahead. Two of the best 80 carry supports at forcing fights as well. Claire going to be adding a lot to that, especially within the Lamb's Respite. But I feel like this game is going to be determined early by who can get ahead quicker, Raze or Ayla, or Mimic versus Swiper. Because Swiper had a rough game yesterday, even though the Chiefs were able to beat Order. And I want to see if the Rock in the top can stand strong against Mimic.
Well, to talk about Chiefs' chances, we are joined by their coach, Volt. Welcome to the desk.
Thank you.
Well, let's start off with just a quick question about always a little bit of draft trickery. Balkan, although you threw a couple of bans his way, he ends up blocking Natalia. Was this one you saw coming?
We saw him playing it in solo queue. We didn't think he would pick it because we have the very obvious Kindred answer, and so we're pretty happy with the result of him picking it.
And it looked like you guys prioritized a couple of roles pretty heavily for comp, and I would say that that's actually, you know, Claire as well as your support in Ayla. We've seen Ayla play a little bit more playmaking, this time on the Braum, a little bit more of a finesse champion, although people don't see it that way. How do you think the young man's going to go in this game, playing into the Kalista Alistair lane?
I think he'll be fun. We've practiced specifically this style of composition and these champions for Bombers, and I think he'll be fine in this matchup. We've played this matchup before, it should be okay.
And the OPL seems to be slowing down a little bit and going more towards those mid to late games, especially for teams like yourself, Mammoth, and Bombers.
Rogue's going to get caught, though. Hold on a second. Looks like he's going to have to try and walk this one out. He will make it away without burning summoners. Ayla uses his Ignite.
Is there anything you think towards that pace, or is it just that you guys are team fighting teams and that's where you thrive?
Well, I think Bombers are the clear exception, at least maybe not in OPL, so they slowed down a bit in OPL, but Bombers are the clear exception. They play very fast. They like taking those like 50-50 fights in the early game, and they win them with their mechanical skill. So obviously we prefer to slow games down against them, but there's also like, we are going to have to beat them in these early game fights if we're going to beat them in the best of 5 at the end of the split. So we have to keep it balanced.
So keeping all of that in mind, you are the only team that have managed to take a game off Bombers, and you seemed all smiles in the pick and ban phase when we saw you on the cameras today. How confident does the team feel overall that you'll be able to do it?
We think, you heard Dos in the interview yesterday say that we think they are a better team than us currently. I think we have the potential to become a better team by the end of the split, but right now I think Bombers, as a best of 1 team, are better than us. But we got exactly the draft that we hoped for. We talked about this draft specifically earlier today. So I think they're more confident that we'll win than lose this game.
Fair enough. Well, best of luck to the team. Thanks for joining us, Volt.
Thank you very much.
Big stakes for this one for sure. Could definitely upend the standings.
Even if it doesn't upend the standings, I would say this is a huge game if the Chiefs win it, because they would be thinking that right now they will be the team playing Bombers in that best of 5. And if you've already won the best of 3 during the regular season, that gives you a huge confidence boost, especially if you think currently right now they're in red hot form and you still haven't peaked. And they would be thinking that, you know, they've got Ayla, he's a younger player, only has come into his own and I think has done a very good job this year, but certainly, you know, someone like Balkan, I would argue you would have to think is a little bit more ready-made because he's the Korean import coming in. Is Claire in some trouble?
A couple of flashes burn. Ryoma does miss out on the chain. Balkan comes in to try and scare away a little bit, but as it stands, 2 summoners for 1 burnt in favor of Claire.
And he has a teleport. I've never seen Oriana run teleport. She's always been one of those champions that runs, you know, something defensive like the heal, or, you know, maybe even something like the Ignite if she thinks that she can kill you in the laning phase. But with the teleport, it's going to get a very good shot here, and Ryoma not going to be able to match. I think that could pay dividends. Swiper just stunned a creep. You hate to see it. I say give him champions if he doesn't have to, you know, finesse his ways in. That's a point-and-click stun, Pyro.
He did need a little bit of finesse on that. Just a modicum, if you will. Pushing waves in opposite sides. You can see FBI and Rogue actually had lane prio in this bottom side, as Raze and Ayla did get pushed in. But they even out on farm, so they're really not too far behind. It just means that Bombers can get some vision in that jungle.
Yeah, which is crazy, right? Because you think about how this early game went, and that was double Scuttle Crab picked up for only, I believe, as well as him pathing towards the bottom side of the map, and Rogue came to lane with nothing. Flash forward.
Yes, he is. Balkan is here, and that's the knock back, which means Ayla, after burning his flash, is going to get out scot-free. Rogue also burning his flash and Ignite. Bombers really going all in. It's just like what Volt is saying. They go early and they go hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's a very Rogue FBI play if you're going to call it out. They flash forward, no hesitation. Raze dashing up.
Does get the knock-up, and Ayla's going to jump in, stand behind me to intercept. Still, they pulled a couple of Ren stacks out, and FBI trades a bit better.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting bottom lane so far, right? Because you would argue that FBI Rogue, definitely more well-rounded, a little bit more experience than someone like Raze or Ayla, but that was with the proactive play going over to the Bombers, and they're able to nullify it very well. I like what Volt's given this this bottom lane. Seem to know the limits that they can play on.
Certainly the case, and I think it's pretty fair to look at both these bottom lanes and think like these could very well be 2 of the best in the OPL currently.
Yeah, I think you have to throw Destiny and King in there as well.
They're definitely in the conversation for sure.
But I would say absolutely. I think that they don't play around their bottom lanes all that much either. More action.
There's the chain on this time. Balkan flashing forward. Does get the knockback, the shove. And the first blood for Ryoma like clockwork.
That's just really nice play from Balkan, right? He waits for the chain to register, knows it's 100% there. Has been able to impact the lane again. What a sensational player he is. He's just really had a great split so far.
He's come out of nowhere, and he's just, I don't think he's had a bad game. Maybe the one they lost, you could say, well, okay, they lost, sure. But, like, I can barely remember him having misplays.
Yeah, I think he's certainly gotten better as the season went on, especially since he is playing, I would say, slightly more standard. This game, obviously, you can't say that. But you have to do credit. Only he's up 20 CS, and Balkan only has 20 CS. Claire in trouble again, though.
Yeah, but this time he has no summoners. He does get the shockwave, but it just doesn't do enough here, and only is a little bit too late. So all of a sudden, what looked like it could have been a safe mid lane pick has been bullied not once but twice.
Yeah, and that's just returning to the lane that you'd already burnt the summoner spells on, right? You have yourself the LeBlanc. She has the dash. She's a pretty safe laner even without flash. You would say Orianna kind of the opposite, very reliant on that summoner spell to get out of situations.
Once again, Chiefs turning some aggression down onto the bottom side. FBI and Raze. Ayla's coming. Only as well is here.
Oh, that hit.
Tags onto Rogue. Can they get the stun proc off? They can, forcing the heal out of FBI already. And Rogue is getting carved up right now. That's a side of beef for Only as he picks up a return kill for Chiefs.
And might be an early Infernal Dragon. Chiefs love to do this thing where on the first spawn of blue buff, they go to Dragon because they know that jungler is most likely pathing top outer lane. That's a really nice setup gank on the way there. And I'm really impressed with how the Chiefs bottom lane is playing right now, Pyra. Ayla seems to be very practiced on how this lane matchup goes.
Chalk it up to experience, chalk it up to confidence, whatever you will, but Chiefs get the kill down bottom, and they do secure a very crucial dragon, the Infernal. And it looks like we'll have a second one in this game.
Yeah, spicy game, spicy dragon. However, Swiper now playing that weak side role has backed so far away. I've always admired this about Swiper. Why he wants eyes on the Golem camp is he wants to know whether they take that blast cone over the wall as well. Big Swifts does the little things in the game very well. And, you know, loses a wave, but does not lose his life.
And that is by far more important. He knows how to play things out fairly safely. Now Only is coming up towards the top. If Mimic doesn't watch himself, he could be in a little bit of trouble as well. Top lane has been a little quieter than the rest of the map because it's just been all about those junglers getting involved.
So I want to hit on why Only didn't go for that play. You've just gone and taken Dragon. You know that two members have walked into your top side. You would assume they both have control wards as well as maybe a trinket up. You know that probably either the Blast Plant or Tri-Brush or even maybe your Golems are warded out. So he doesn't go for that low percentage play of going for a gank as a lot of junglers would think is appropriate. Swiper takes a bad end of the trade there. Instead, he just goes for the high tier, you know, let's farm as quickly as possible. Let's put this guy on a clock, get me to Warrior, and try and take over the game.
Checking back with the mid lane. Ryoma always threatening on Declare. He goes in this time, gets a chunk of damage, a little bit of a proc on the Electrocute. Only and Ayla are here as well. They try to throw down a little bit of vision into the Bomber's jungle, which is dark for them.
And this is really cute, right? Raze and Ayla have their back timing separated. What I mean by that is Ayla went for the first back, Raze went back to lane, caught another 2 waves, obviously waiting on a shop. Now he gets his shop in. Ayla uses that time not to freeze the lane, but to team up with Only there and go into Raptor camp, get that deep ward. Really like when you ward in 2s. Braum with Kindred is a very lethal combo at this stage of the game as well. So I think that they're doing a nice job here of trying to put some eyes on Balkan early. If he's not on Raptor camp, you either have to think that he's very deep bottom lane where he doesn't want to be, or hovering towards the top side of the map.
Always noted where Balkan can be, where he can't. Meanwhile, the fight down bottom. Very close trades back and forth on the farm game, but nobody's gone for the all-in as of yet. You can see Only gets pinged out by the Bombers as he steps too close to a ward.
Yeah, great toggle on vision there. I was actually going to call for it. So people pink inside the Raptor, inside the Dragon Pit when they do it. It's just something that happens all the time. That ward gets the ramp, but is never spotted. That's just a clever ward by whoever dropped it down there. I think it was Rogue. So able to buy some time there. And this is what I'm talking about. If he's not at Raptors for this long, where else is he going to be? You know he's not bottom side of the map. He's not in bottom river. He must be top side. They're pinging out the Herald. Like, where is he?
Only doesn't see him. Starting on his Raptor camp. Balkan around the back of the red pit. Might be heading up towards the top. No, he actually just starts off on the red buff, and Only's not going to check this in time. He might lose out on his red.
Certainly could. I mean, it's not the biggest price to pay. Balkan is very strong at this stage of the game. However, they do know that Swiper is now under fire. They're rotating the Orianna over as well.
Oh, there come the chains down. Balkan's in. Let's see if Only gets there in time. Swiper walks out. Mimic taking a lot of tower shots. And that, honestly, did not go all that well for Bombers.
Certainly didn't. You would have liked the kill. However, they are going to get the push in right now. They will get the reset. Swiper can't do anything to deny that. You can see Fog of War once again dipped into to the LeBlanc. Complete topside control still for the Bombers lineup. But it's only 8 CS, and Mimic's going to have to walk back to lane after this one.
Yeah, slim gold lead. 300 gold at 11 minutes here. Chiefs, however, more than make up for that by having themselves a dragon and looking for damage, but Swiper taking way too much chunk. The Lamb's Respite gets thrown down, and that'll save the Croc's lives, and Only shoots an arrow into the back of Balkan, but meanwhile, Claire going to take a lot of damage and chunked out solo by Ryoma.
And had to burn the flash as well. Ryoma styling. He is down in CS, but so far up in what pressure he has in this lane. Once again, bottom side.
Trying to get a little bit extra play out while they can. Rogue goes in as he gets stunned up and throws his own ultimate on. There's the Braum as well. They turn their attention to FBI. Look at that chunk damage, but it's just not enough as Ayla takes down FBI and Rogue stunned again. Raze gets that one.
And Quinny K is out of his seat and absolutely popping off. What a play out of the rookie and the veteran for the Chiefs Esports Club. Really gives him a piece of his mind there, but that is just so impressive. Ayla, shield up at the right time, nails them both with the ultimate, and Ray's just willing to flash past the cow to get the job done. They are in a commanding lead in this bottom lane.
But it's so scrappy back and forth across the map. Chiefs, though, have an advantage globally. They've got 1,000 gold extra in their pockets. They have the Infernal Dragon, but the threats are still there on the Bombers lineup. You have Ryoma on a 2-0 LeBlanc, and he's honestly terrifying Claire at this point, bringing Rogue and Balkan to clear the vision in the river.
But without ultimates, Braum is so much more effective than Alistar. So the fact that they got the ultimates out just as the Infernal is about to spawn means that Mimic has to come down early. Swiper, of course, he's kept his teleport this whole time. We'll be able to get to the play.
There's the wall, though. They do separate a couple members of Chiefs, and there's the teleport coming through. Raze steps up, but Balkan dances out of danger. FBI pulls out the Ren stacks, and they start by taking down Raze. Bombers having the jump on it. They throw in Rogue with the Fate's Call. They get the knock up onto Big Swips and just chunk him almost down to 0. Meanwhile, though, Ryoma gets taken down by Only. Swiper makes it out in.
And Claire hasn't even rotated to the play. So now all of a sudden you have 100% health, 100% mana, Orianna with Shockwave still available. They've committed so many resources. I don't think they can do the Dragon, so it's just a race against the turrets.
They're going to try to go for it here. It looks like we'll just be in for knocking down a couple of those plates, and Claire gets a little bit extra gold, much needed as he's with Bully down in this lane. But Chiefs stopping what looked like a bad fight, and now they'll turn for the Dragon on the back.
Yeah, because they know that their bottom lane hadn't reset, and they're part of the fight. So they can't come back right now and try and contest. At the same time, Claire, he wasn't fighting anyone. He still has the resources available.
Oh, that's brilliant. They pull it right out.
No way he can steal that pyro. He doesn't have flash. There's no blast cone there. He's just not getting over the wall.
Yeah, wasn't going to happen. But Chiefs secure it up. Second Infernal Dragon as the game drags on. 16% AD and AP bonus is nothing to sneeze at.
It certainly is not, especially when you're running the focused team fight comp here. And credit to Claire, even though he's down big in the kills, has been able to get those 2 plates, has now been able to get himself that 20 CS lead as well. So still farming up a Storm. And the fact that they switch first here is crucial because it means that now Swiper is up on Mimic in farm. He's been able to push a big wave into that turret. He's going to get some damage done here as well. Chiefs just playing the map beautifully.
Yeah, denying whatever Bombers can really do here. And it's been a bit of a back and forth, but they built themselves up a decent lead going into this mid-game now. Having the tempo advantage, Chiefs are looking great overall. And now it's Bombers that are going to start off on this Rift Herald. Let's see if there's a contest possible.
I don't think there is because they have the teleport advantage on Balkan. So finally, on Mimic. So finally, Balkan going to be able to use some of his, quick farming that he has on the Talia to be able to get control of this side of the map. Gets the objective first, pulls it out. Of course, too much available for Only on the bottom side.
Good prio and good recognition there from the Bombers to grab something for themselves. And they do get back to defend tower.
This is what Balkan does really well. He knows what his windows are to be able to go for the sneaky plays even though he's weaker. That is a 3-0-0. Kindred at the moment. Got Boots 2 upgrade, got Hex Drinker, has so much more gold, right? Has had a huge impact on the game. And now they're kind of stalling out this wave. I think they're looking to potentially dive. Mimic with Swipers level 11.
Yeah, I think Mimic knows this is going to happen. Starts walking away for a second. He does tap back, sees only, and decides, I don't really need that tower. So Chiefs do win first brick.
Certainly do. They're winning a couple of places on the map right now. And I really, once again, I like the fact that they've given Swiper, who's normally known for that team fight, that early game bully, to just make sure that they're removing a win condition. Now he's 20 CS up over Mimic. Big wave pushing in here, so certainly going to be trimmed, but Swiper doing a very admirable job in this top lane.
He certainly is. Raze and Ayla continue to push up in their side of the map as well and only join Claire in this mid. A lot of threats on the Chiefs lineup. They're playing it well, not giving really a lot of opportunity for isolated plays. So far, the biggest threat on this Bombers lineup is still Ryoma. And he's only got the 2 kills.
But he is a big threat.
Yet.
He is a big threat. Kind of nullified a little bit by Ayla in team fight. So LeBlanc's going to look for an angle to jump in, right? And then Ayla's going to have to put himself between the LeBlanc and whoever's going for and throw the ultimate at the distortions. Is this going to be a face check?
It is. You can see only steps into Rogue, didn't realize he was going to be there. Probably should have, though.
Yeah, I think kind of knew. Was kind of fishing for some information as well, whether there was any more people there. Still has the ultimate available.
Not a heavy punish either. He just gets knocked up and he dances away with the blast cone.
One thing I will say is I've always enjoyed Alistair Kalista into Kindred early game, because you can kind of get as many spears in as you want. You know, pole him. As soon as ultimate goes down, you can try and kick him out of the ultimate and rend at the same time, which is a very cool combo that nullifies a lot of the Kindred's ability. Of course, late game, that means nothing because no one else has really got major displacements unless somehow a flick boots them all out. It's not like this is an Azir or something like that that's going to have major impact. But at the same time, the Rend does delay a lot of the damage until after the Lamb's Respite has finally worn off.
It looks like this tower should finally fall with the Rift Herald being popped in the top and Ayla and Raze ping back a little bit. A lot of bombers on the top side of this map. They just make sure they can guarantee it.
And the reason they had to let that one go is you can see Claire can only follow Ryoma to the play right now. Ryoma's still stronger. So instead, they just back away. They give up the turret. They'd already gathered one on the bottom side of the map. They have, you know, half the mid lane turret off as well. So certainly not a bad trade right now.
Speaking of not a bad trade, Claire has actually been able to scare Ryoma away a little bit more now. He has a CS advantage for himself.
Yeah, still maintaining that CS lead that I was talking about, you know, that 20 CS up. And that's just because Ryoma isn't going to win the lane any further by just staying in the lane. He has to get busy, get around the map, look to set up plays. So, you know, when he goes top, it might cost him 2 or 3 CS, but it does gain them a turret.
And here's the set play right now. Chief's going to move in onto it. Not going to full commit. They do see Balkan and Rogue and FBI. They back away.
I think this is just a stall right now. The Chiefs actually don't want to play for mid lane turret. They don't have teleport still, so Swiper kind of had to be with him. They were trying to draw Mimic into the mid lane, try and help him defend. Because right now, if they do get the teleport advantage and Dragon started straight away, I think that Swiper won't have it up and available.
They will try to commit.
Well, Rogue
again.
again.
Rogue gets caught out. That shockwave not enough to catch. However, Rogue goes in trying to get the collapse with Ryoma there, and there is the Lamb's Respite for only caught inside of it along with the rest of Bombers. He flashes over, but still gets shut down by Balkan, and Rogue goes in, gets the heal from FBI. Chiefs getting routed here, but Raze isn't done just yet. Looking for one. He manages to find it, but not before he gets blown to pieces by Balkan. The teleport comes a little late for Swiper, and there are pings flying on the 3rd Infernal Dragon on the map.
Yeah, and I think Chiefs just need to let this one go. Unfortunately, the Shockwave missed. They don't have Ultimate Summoner spells available on Claire, and Mimic is full health. Has Ultimate still available, so instead they're going to walk into the Dragon Pit, and I don't know whether the Chiefs can do anything to stop it.
Chiefs trying to play for the Death Brush here, but Balkan and none of the Bombers walk forward. Let's see if they can chase them off. They might just be able to do it, but they can't win a Smite fight without a Smite, and they just turn tail and run, come back in to sniff for it, nothing doing. And now all 3 Infernals go in the first 20 minutes of this game. 1 to Bombers, 2 to Chiefs.
Yeah, so that's a big bite back for the Bombers, and really got to respect how tenacious they've been in this mid game to try and hold on, because, you know, with Orianna, Braum, you would expect this comp to really be flying at this stage, but some crucial whiffs coming out of Claire, unfortunately, this game. Let's have a look at it. So ignore Rogue for a second, because his ultimate gets blown, but FBI dodges out on that Shockwave, which is going to be a bigger case. Only has to use ultimate early, pops out the back with the flash. Rend shut down, very nicely done. Rogue can re-engage, gets a heal as well. And this is where Shockwave would have been huge. You know, 3-man Shockwave looked like it's sitting there. Instead of Dissonance comes out, Raze flashes forward, dies. That means that the Chiefs can't fight after that stage.
Yeah, it was a really greedy attempt, too, because at the most, it would have only grabbed FBI. There wasn't any follow-up potential.
If you get rid of FBI from a team fight and you only have to use one ultimate for it, I'm taking it a win.
Well, could he have bursted him down? He was almost full health.
I mean, FBI can't come back into the fight after that, though. If you're going
true.
into that fight at 40%, 2 people flash on you, you die. All of a sudden, they can't team fight at all. So I understand what the idea was there. Sure, you want to always hit the dream 5-man Shockwave, but you also have to take the ones that are in front of you as well and try and take the cheeky little snipes.
Well, Claire will have plenty of chances to sink those Shockwaves later on. As we check back in, maps reset just a little bit. Still a gold lead for Chiefs, but it has been thinned out considerably. Down to 1,000 at 21 minutes.
Swiper's going Spear of Shojin as well.
Ooh.
On his Renekton, has himself
We'll see that in a minute.
BF
He does have a
sword
pretty
as
big
Ruby
gold lead.
Crystal, so, yeah, going to be able to build towards that. Gives Renekton a massive stun, like 4 seconds of stun in a 5.5 second
Really does feel like
period or
Spear of
something.
Jax.
Yeah, it's very nice. Synergize as well.
Baron has hit the Rift spawn. Neither of these teams, though, I would think would just rush it down, and neither would give away as much vision. So it may be a while before we see a fight over that one, but the dance will be potentially slow and elegant.
Yeah, potentially. I think if Bombers get there first, they do it super quickly and they have really good secure, so they can start it up. You know, you've got yourself nearly a 2-item Callista, and Talia's always been really quick at doing Baron. Her single target damage is kind of nuts. But at the same time, you know, you don't start it. It's pretty hard to walk into the Bombers as well. They've got an Alistar, they've got a Talia, they've got a LeBlanc. I think the Chiefs, if they ever go for Baron, need to have real firm control, though, because they don't have any hard tanks. They have pseudo-tanks at best, and they don't do it as quickly, in my opinion. Kindred kind of tears through it, but not with this build. No Blade of the Ruined King, no Devour or anything like that. So we'll do it quickly, don't get me wrong, but I don't think at the same speed as what a Callista Talia will.
Ooh, Ayla doesn't even have to face check because he can just get knocked into the brush and chunked
They
down.
know where he's recalling as well. Rogue just hit ultimate for no reason, however.
Volcan forces Ayla back. Tries to finish him off. He's going to have to stand behind or stand in front. Bomber's kind of moving forward here.
Certainly are, and this is really good control gain, right? They've got control over top side. They're making Swiper rotate up to the plate just in case something does start, and they're pushing into the Orianna as well. Really nice control established right now for this Bombers lineup.
Swiper going to flash in. They want to make the play onto Balkan. There's the Shockwave ball delivery, but Balkan goes golden here. Do they have the damage to finish him off? They do, and the Lamb's Respite goes down just a second after. Mimic and Claire going to stay alive a little bit longer, but the Ren stacks get pulled out anyways, and it looks like Chiefs might have run out of gas, but have they the Dominus on from Big Swips? And the man is a giant croc, but Mimic and Rogue are still going to cut him down to size. However, now it's Bomber's turn to run out of damage, and Ryoma was nowhere in that fight.
Yeah, and that's all it was. It was a 4v5, right? The Chiefs members that weren't there rotated to get there in the end. Ryoma stayed at home, stayed top lane. And once again, that Shockwave didn't hit anyone, but this time it guaranteed that Balkan had to stay in place. And you saw how much damage Swiper did. Now he has the Spear of Shojin picked up. This was a really risky start. He just flashes over the wall and goes. Shockwave really nicely dodged out there by Balkan. And it looks like this could be the Bombers team fight. Look at how much work FBI is getting done. And honestly, I just didn't expect the damage from Swiper.
It's huge.
He nearly 100 to 0'd the Callista, who I don't think has tabbies, and maybe wants to go buy some tabbies.
That's probably not a bad recommendation. And yeah, Rogue kind of gets caught out being the last one left. And Chiefs win a fight that looked like it could have gone either way for a while. Map resets once again. They didn't have enough healthy members to try and rush down the Baron. And they weren't in the right position either.
I just don't think they could do it with Ryoma. Still, you know, once again, I talk about these resources a lot, but 100% health, mana, had both summoner spells available. You go towards that Baron, that's probably suicide at that time in the game. So I like the fact that they just use it for the map control. I think they got another Kindred Mark.
Claire this time, he Shockwave, but it's only going to hit Balkan. In goes Ayla to intercept. Mimic on the front line, forcing the flash back from the Braum. Bombers flexing some muscles, and they force Chiefs to blink.
Yeah, they certainly do. They get 2 flashes as well as the ultimate out of Claire. They didn't have to burn anything themselves. Just a couple of Qs from their cheeky top laner.
Chiefs, meanwhile, though, will back, get healthy again, try to steal away a few objectives. Only manages to pick up a mark, it looks like.
And I think the Chiefs have got a little bit unlucky here. If this was early game, like double Mountain Drake, I think this game would be very different because they could swap their control up to topside and really start to pressure this Baron. However, as I said, without a tank, really hard to do that without the Mountain Dragons on Summoner's Rift. And they don't want to risk the Bombers doing it, so they can't really send only to that Dragon right now and try and get the RNG spawn on the next time around. So, you know, even though Infernal Dragons are technically one of the best dragons in the game, I think that they would really like to have those mountains right now.
Don't think they disagree with you one bit, but it is a game of wards. Ryoma trying to clear away. Baron gets procced and he gets chunked a little bit down. Ping's flying up and down the river.
And this is why it's so much harder to get control of Baron on the blue side. Headbutt pole.
Rogue going in again on Declare. FBI turns on him. It's a lot of damage built there, and he gets popped instantly between FBI, Balkan, and everyone. Ryoma, though, does get turned on back to his team, pulled back into. They have the damage to turn it around. Here comes Swiper into the back line looking for Ryoma, but he's found the wrong one. Let's see if they have the damage through the culling. Raze is going to combo up with only to find one, and Bombers running out of steam. They can take down Mimic here, and Ryoma if they choose, but he backs away in time. The double kill for the Kindred. It's a 2 for 3.
And this time they had to use all the resources. And I said it's a quick Baron, it's just not a safe one. So they're going to go for it. No smite available. FBI and Ryoma, the two best mates, are going to have to try and steal this one away.
Let's see if they can do it. They hop the wall. It's going to be only trying to chase off Ryoma. He's back away, though. Let's see if FBI can close this net. A little bit low on the damage. The spear comes in. Teleport going to come out for Claire. Raze turns over. He nearly finds Ryoma, forces him out of this fight, and FBI gets cold feet. It looks like this is going the way of the Chiefs, and Bombers cannot contest.
And what a huge play from the Chiefs. With 3 members left up and available, they go towards the Baron, they secure it. They only have to burn the mid laner's teleport. And it all started off the Bombers' play. They catch out Claire. Shockwave doesn't even register. The dreams start. And they're a comp that doesn't need their ultimates to fight. But Ryoma went back to his mark. I think that was a little bit of a mistake. And Swiper's access to this backline just does so much damage at this stage of the game. Chunks everyone out. And then you have a split fight. And I kind of alluded to this. Braum is the best support in the game when he doesn't, when all the ultimates are down. The shields, the auto attacks, the passive, just everything allows to those really nitty-gritty skirmishes, and you just can't go near him at that stage.
This has a lot of uptime, so Chiefs take control of the game once again. Still a slim gold lead, but with the Baron buff, what can they do? Balkan is in danger of getting collapsed on. That tower is not nearly as safe as you might suppose it to be. And here they come. Let's see if he can run as fast as he can. Raze is coming in here, and he throws the wall down, but gets popped off it instantly.
And Only is having a superstar game right now, Pyra. He is 6-1-3. We said that Balkan, you know, jungler of the split, definitely. Rookie of the split, definitely. Maybe MVP. But Only is 6-1-3, and Rogue's being caught out.
Yeah, this time he doesn't have anywhere to jump back to. Tries to get a knockup, pulled in by the Fate's Call of FBI to save his life. But meanwhile, the second tier 2 is getting fired down by the Chiefs, picking up all that standing gold on the top side of the map and using the Baron buff to the fullest in a 4-1. Swiper in the mid lane. Let's see if they can get things done.
And talk about the flip side. Ooh!
Turning for FBI. There's the full channel calling, and they take him out of there. Raze makes sure he has nowhere to go, and Ayla chucks out the ultimate for good measure. Goodbye, Bombers inhibitor. Ryoma comes in to get the deletion, but Ayla lives through it anyways.
And you have to say that now just everywhere, the Chiefs members are outperforming the Bombers counterparts. You know, Mimic's kind of the last bastion of hope.
And Mimic has not had one of those games where he's been able to just hard carry it because he's had a bad matchup that Bombers opted into here.
Flick.
There's the box, the flicks. Let's see if Balkan can do it, but Raze turns around again. He just doesn't have the burst damage. Trying for it. Rogue will knock him up, and they will take him out of there. Or will they? Oh my word! They delete Balkan off the map, and Mimic's doomed to fall. How in the heck does Raze live through that? Swiper chasing back the Bombers.
And the Bombers are getting desperate, and they're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the Chiefs right now, but they stand tall. Even Claire right now starting to rise up, hitting a key shockwave in that exchange. It starts beautifully. The flick, blind, but very nicely done. Raze goes over the wall, and I thought that this was going to be Balkan just kiting them around, putting out so much damage. Really nice shockwave, deletes him. And then it kind of becomes a Mimic Ryoma show, but they can't get in there. They just don't have the tools right now. Ryoma trying to do it all himself. 3-1 and 4. But Rogue has had a shocker of a game so far, Pyra. And Ayla is 2-1 and 11. It's just, it's so exciting to see, only Ayla, these players that kind of came onto this superstar team of the Chiefs with big expectations, but kind of some uncertainties, standing tall in the biggest of games, now a 5,000 gold lead.
Right when they needed to, too. The stakes are honestly, you can't get a whole lot higher than this. Up against the team that's the de facto best in the league, you can own the head-to-head over them with the win here. And at 30 minutes, they might just be able to do it. But I'll tell you something after watching that last fight. I think Raze owes Ayla a cheeky bevy or something, man, because he was playing Protect the President quite well.
Yeah, he certainly is. Now the flank from both sides coming in.
There we go, Rogue. There's the knockup from Ayla. Claire goes golden, but he's caught out a little bit. There's going to be the redemption coming through. He flashes on the backside, and here comes Mimic around the back. Let's see if they can get the fight done. Swiper is chasing out the front line while Mimic is getting chunked out in the back. He might give his life for this one, but it looks like that's going to be perfectly okay.
Oh, he's alive!
He turns around again! The man just will not die, and Chiefs turn it into the base.
And that just might be their game. You see Ray still chasing out Mimic, and they will push in. They will break the base. And the Chiefs just look possessed today.
They absolutely do. I could see the confidence on their faces, but defeating Bombers is a monumental task. Chiefs have managed to do it once. They lost their most recent bout, but they're knocking on the doors to victory here, Spawn. Mimic and Ryoma trying to defend. That's 2 inhibs down.
And they just say, okay, everyone calm down. 5 seconds on FBI. We can't finish the game. Let's reset. 2 inhibitors down. Baron up and available for in a minute. Let's not throw this game. Let's hold our position on the map and really take the second Baron and close this one out.
What a game this has been. 32 minutes of pulse-pounding action. Bombers stymied like we've seen no other team before, but still threatening. Always finding a way in, but Chiefs have just had that little bit of razzle-dazzle to turn them around.
Absolutely, and it's been individual performances. Swiper diving the back line with the Shockwave registering is so much more impactful than Mimic at the moment. You see, even though Mimic is up in experience, Swiper's still up in gold. No one's really done that against the Korean top laner of the Bombers lineup. And even Claire now is ahead in gold over Ryoma. Everyone just stronger than their counterparts and giving that 1% little bit extra.
Here's Chiefs into the mid lane. Bombers melt away into the night.
If they go towards Baron, you just go towards the base right now. You got Swiper to be able to tank it up. So this is where the Bombers need to be really careful. They can't go too far into the fog of war.
Chiefs have 2 teleports on their side. Bombers don't have any as Mimics is on cooldown. Bombers have to decide what to do. They're in an unfamiliar situation, being behind at this point of the game. Chiefs will move into the Baron area, clearing away wards as they go. They'll start this off. Let's see what the turn looks like as Ryoma steps in, immediately turns around. That one ward still spotting what the Chiefs are doing, but they have to move fast on the Bomber side. Here comes Balkan. He turns in. That's the damage onto Only. That's a lot of chunk, but Ray steps forward. However, is he going to get taken down? Redemption coming through, and the Baron is all but forgotten as Ray steps back. Mimic chasing him through. They do get the damage on. Bombers might have split away the Chiefs, but they're running out of damage, or are they here? You can see Mimic going to step the wall. That's the Guardian Angel popped, but Chiefs have lost this fight.
They certainly have, and now Bombers can go back to the Baron. There is a teleport available for Swiper, so they need to send one member back, otherwise he can teleport and try and end the game. Ryoma, however, trying to be very cute right now, Pyro. Does not want to do it. Does Swiper go for the TP play?
They look for the kills, and you can see Only and Ayla get a little spooked here. Ryoma hops back up, and Swiper not entirely sure what he wants to do here. Only try for the outplay. He takes down the big LeBlanc. That's 55 seconds, and Swiper will die.
And minions
but
are
look
on
at
the
base.
Right now, the last inhibitor, Nexus turret is falling down. The inhibitor is under fire as well. The Bombers must recall. That means Chiefs can just go straight to Baron.
Yeah, Swiper may not pick this one up, but it doesn't matter. Claire's got teleport. The rest of the team can just start this off. And now Bombers, despite the fact that they turned away Chiefs, can't get anything else done here but clearing the waves.
So now you're fighting without Ryoma, without the strongest member on your team, with no ultimates apart from Mimics and Rogue. So the survivability ones, if they face check this Death Brush.
Oh, that Sentinel is so valuable. but they don't see it yet. Clearing away the wards. And now here's the start for the Chiefs. In come the Bombers, rushing for it. 5 seconds on Ryoma, but he has no TP. He's going to have to walk the long way around. Mimic is not there either. This is a 4v3. Ayla body blocking. The Baron still aggroed. The pressure's on Claire. Has yet to reveal himself. There's the knockup. Looking for a placement for the shockwave. But only he can't get much done. He's shut down here. There is no smite available for the Chiefs. But he's got Swiper. What a shockwave. And screw the Baron. They're going to take the game.
They certainly are. Mimic will fall. Ryoma will follow, and the Chiefs might have done it.
Ryoma's the last man standing here, and he might have two-stepped his way out of danger, but the base is in the eyes of the Chiefs Esports Club.
What a game. The Chiefs just time and time again have rose to the occasion, and they're going to end.
Looking like the second place OPL team upending number 1 here, owning the tiebreaker. The Chiefs have done it. Holy smokes, was that a game?
And say what you will about Claire's early game, but comes back in the last team fight with the 4-man shockwave. When only got trapped in that Baron pit, I was like, oh, please don't tell me it is happening again. Osh Baron strikes one more time.
You thought, right?
But it doesn't happen. I mean, they're able to turn the team fight, swipe it in that game. The Renekton, one of his oldest champions, playing it in 2014. And still standing very, very strong in the top
Still
lane.
rocking it in 2019. Man, that was something else. I'd have so many more words, but they're all out of my head. Let's see what the couch has to say about it. That was impressive.
Holy shit!
Yes, that was a banger.
Game of the day, game of the week, game of the split.
Yeah, that is genuinely by far the best game of League of Legends we have played this split.
The thing is, like, I watched a game like this, and it was just exciting from start to finish. And the thing that makes it even better is this could be the teams you see in the finals.
Oh,
like,
I mean,
that could be game, like, preview of the finals itself.
Imagine if we saw 5 of those. Like, that's a night.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a night. My first question, just to launch us off. Can Swiper get any lower in his chair?
No,
was
yeah.
the best thing ever.
That one team fight, and he's like, that was a banger. No, because like to talk about the progression of that game, like genuinely up until like the last team fight, like it sucks to say, but everyone on Chiefs is playing well but Claire.
Yeah.
Like he had a super rough early game, and he's just like genuinely just getting picked on and picked on.
He
and
just
the
walked in the room.
I know,
as well.
yeah,
That's
so
why
bad.
we're all
I
making
felt
the
so
face.
bad.
The bottom lane of Chiefs, like together, I think like could, and this game is a case for like Raze popped the hell off in team fights, but like they are the best bot lane together. They're very good individuals, but they play the most. And then like Swiper has moments at the Dragon. Only like pre that last Baron, the first Baron team fight, like after the picks happen and Chiefs are literally thrown the game, he gets the 1v1 to stop that one. Like every single member stepped up for Chiefs, and then the last team fight, Claire lands a 4-man shockwave. It's like that was disgusting.
There are so many things in this, right? And you could sit here forever and talk about the game, but what matters the most is now they have head-to-head, and now they actually have the capabilities to fight for first place in the standing.
Yeah.
Think back to the first time Chiefs played Bombers. It was comfort champions, and it was Raze going absolutely insane.
Yeah.
The second time, Raze didn't find his opportunity, but you still felt like they could have. You know, like you still have that late game team fight. It was the Ivern and Ash where you're like, oh, actually, like, can they? And they couldn't, unfortunately. This game, that was like the most alpha I've ever seen Raze. Like, you don't often get to see him jump out of his chair and pop off, but we saw that in everything in this game. He was nuts.
Because as soon as like a Braum passive lands, he's just going in, and I feel like this also marks like the first game where Balkan very obviously got out jungled. I think only like his early pathing was really good. Like the Kindra was a good pick, and like there's tough things like a Braum wall to deny Talia ulti, stuff like that, but he had like an outstanding performance in the jungle role, which is good to see from a guy fairly new to like this lineup.
I mean, we interviewed Swiper yesterday at the desk, and he was saying that he wasn't expecting a win tonight. Like, he wasn't 100% on a win, but was preparing for a struggle. But you could also tell that energy he had was just like, he was jumping out of that chair. He wanted to go play League. Like, we should have seen this coming. That was such a fantastic game. Claire is at the desk with Pyra. How are you feeling?
I would hope he's feeling pretty good because that was an absolute banger. You guys managed to win it, and there was something special about the Chiefs today. You just looked more on form, more confident than I have seen all split. What happened today?
I think it's just a result of having the most important match of the split. I think for the entire split, just between us and Bombers, I think emotions were varying in a huge range. Like some of us were extremely nervous, some of us were just so extremely confident, it's insane. And I think all of those emotions bottled up into that game just created a crazy game that everyone enjoyed. And I think both teams played well.
They certainly did. And, talking about emotions, it could be really easy to get off kilter in some of those situations. You were the one who was getting bullied pretty hard in the early game, but when it mattered at the end, you stepped up and delivered the biggest shockwave of all time in that particular instance. So, what was going through your mind when you sunk that? Did you know the game was over?
When I sunk at which moment?
The one at the very end when you got the 4 members.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just, I had all my emotions from just feeding the entire game bottled up inside, and as soon as I landed the ult and they all died, I knew the game was over, and I just let it out. I just let it go. I'm so tilted from feeding all game, I'm going to let it out now, but definitely I think the early game was just, after I blew my flash for flash, I was up CS, and I still had TP. I thought I was okay, but in reality, it's just really hard to lane into LeBlanc, who can just dash forward, land a chain. As soon as she lands a chain, any jungler could just follow up as long as they have flash. So I feel like the first death was avoidable if I positioned better, but it was just like a snowball where they were putting a lot of pressure on me and I was dying to it because I just wasn't mentally prepared, I guess, after losing my flash. So most of the game I was just playing catch up. I'm pretty sure I was up in CS, so I was still relevant, but I wasn't as impactful as I should have been. I do think that LeBlanc is one of the strongest mid-champs, so it's kind of a matchup that I wasn't prepared to play because I've been the one playing LeBlanc usually, and I haven't really versed it in scrims or on stage. So there was a lot of uneasiness, I guess, coming into the game. But definitely towards the end, when teamfight started, I felt pretty comfortable in Orianna.
Yeah, it seemed like that was the case, and I guess let that be a lesson to all of you in solo queue. If you feed a couple deaths, you can still be relevant. But the last one I want to ask you now here, Claire, is do you think this is going to be the finals in the OPL this split?
Bombers vs Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely. I think we're the 2 best teams at the moment. I think we've been the 2 best teams for the entire split, so I would not be surprised at all to see us at the grand finals.
That'd be one hell of a match. Thank you for joining me. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
All right, back to the couch.
How do you follow that? How do you follow that game? I'll tell you how, it was hard.